The views and opinions during this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the sponsors or executive producers. This program contains conversation, discussion, debate, which a truly free society would neither fear nor suppress. However, in some socially inept areas, certain religious fanatics and ultra-sensitive and extreme political affiliates violate your First Amendment rights by attempting to control what you watch, listen to, write, and speak. We feel that this is unconstitutional and un-American. And now we present the mkulatrasound podcast. Live from Studio Diablo in Chicago, Illinois, this is mkulatrasound.
Get with the countdown.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man. Blast off for Kicksville. Shake this square world. Blast off for Kicksville.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man. Get with the countdown.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man. Blast off for Kicksville. Shake this square world. Blast off for Kicksville.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man.
We're back. I don't even want to talk about what happened last weekend. But, it's embarrassing, and it's a show that nobody's going to hear. So, this is Alexander. I'm back. I've got Angela Dank with me sitting in.
Hey, y'all.
And from Detroit, Michigan, Detroit Rock City, murder capital of the world, as Ted Nugent said, we've got ACID Casualty with us.
What's up?
This man does the outro to our show.
Oh,
I do.
Yeah, he's the guy that
did not know that.
You didn't know that till right now,
No.
right? On the phone, we've got Michael ex-Christian. Michael, you're there.
Hello, I am here.
I'm glad you're here because what are you doing today? Taking pictures?
That's the idea. It's a pretty nice day out here. It's about 60 degrees, so
Okay,
nice start to March.
yeah. Are you close to 60 there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're above 50 here. I'm gonna grill. You know how much I love doing that.
Nice.
Yeah, and I thought we had, in your honor, we would have some pig.
Oh no.
So, Michael, if you haven't heard this show and know, he has a couple of side projects of really good industrial music, but he's found success with his Marilyn Manson tribute band called Misery Machine. And I wanted to talk to you about this because we all know that I don't like tribute bands. I think that when there's a band that's still active, there shouldn't be a tribute band to that band.
Okay.
And so, for instance, I've got a friend who was in Prong, a drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in Scum of the Earth with Riggs from Rob Zombie's band, did a band and a tour with him, and now he's in a Styx tribute band. And my friend Bob Hoaxema tells me that he works at this new venue out in Aurora, the outdoor venue on the river, and he tells me these tribute bands actually sign autographs.
Yeah.
It's a fucking tribute band.
Shit, I don't even sign autographs.
But I think that's part of the celebrity experience that's being recreated. I have an old high school friend. He does a Zeppelin tribute. He's actually the one who toured with Pigface.
Cool.
Bruce Lamont, he fronts a Zeppelin tribute. And it is a full celebrity show. They recreate Led Zeppelin sets. It's a historical
Jason
recreation
Bonham's
at that point.
Jason Bonham's
So-
out there doing the Led Zeppelin experience, which I saw a couple years ago with Cheap Trick and Heart. No, it wasn't Cheap Trick and Heart. It was Cheap Trick. And it was Valerie Kenwell came up for that. But yeah, Jason Bonham experience. I think Hart played that night, but we left. I saw Cheap Trick a couple different times out on here on the lake. But so Michael's got a band that's unique. And explain to everybody how you're different than other tribute bands.
Well, I don't think that we're necessarily the idea of what we do being era specific. I don't think that's entirely exclusive to us, but I don't think that there are a lot of them that do that. We only go from 1990 to 1996 in Marilyn Manson's career. And I think that is important because that is material that is not really being addressed in Manson's set anymore. And I don't know of any other tribute bands to Manson that are doing that.
Well,
so
you
when
do.
you say that,
I'm going to
well,
interject here. You do explain to people. You do the Spooky Kids version though,
yeah,
with the original lineup, and you've got people who
at
play
least
you have a Twiggy.
Yeah, I mean we've got Twiggy now, and we had a guy, Chris, and he was Gidget. So that progression from Gidget to Twiggy is also very appropriate, but. You were saying that if a band is still around, still playing, like there shouldn't be a tribute to them. And a lot of people say that, I've heard that before. I understand that. I think, though, in this case, what we're doing, yes, Marilyn Manson's still around and still very active, but what we're doing, the era that we're doing, he is not like that anymore. So essentially, that incarnation of the band is dead, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to give people the experience of that early era. There's a lot of people that missed out on it or wish that it was like that again. And so we're trying to give them a glimpse of that.
I wish it was like that again.
Kind of take them back like a time machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Well, I want to ask, just so I know and listeners, so I don't have the dates in my head on Manson's catalog, but when you say 90 to 96, so that's Spooky Kids through what, Hollywood, or what's 96?
Antichrist Superstar.
Okay.
Antichrist Superstar.
Antichrist is where you cut off.
We don't have the intention of going beyond Antichrist Superstar, which might be a little disappointing to a couple of people, just strictly radio fans who are like, oh, why don't you play the Dope Show or this or that? And if anybody ever said that, which we don't get that very often, but if somebody ever says that to us, I'm like, well, if you want to hear that stuff, go see Manson play it himself, because I can guarantee you there's not one show since Mechanical Animals came out that he didn't play the Dope Show.
Sure. Sure.
So, things like that. We do play a few ones that he would still play now, like Sweet Dreams and, The Beautiful People and stuff like that. We'll give him that.
Right. So what I want to get to is this, and you're a brilliant solo artist. You do your own stuff. And this friend I went and saw Friday night at Carol's, Pete Berwick, and I'm old friends with him. And he's got 6 albums and 4 novels to his credit. Critically acclaimed, really good cowpunk stuff. But I would see him in a room of maybe 50 people. He's got a Johnny Cash tribute band. I saw him Friday night, 300 people to see a Johnny Cash tribute band. And when I saw this act, I'm watching him, it was like a Vegas lounge show. It was very well done, very well rehearsed, very well run through. I'm like, these guys are walking out here with at least $1,000 each in their pocket. Pete would be lucky. I think a couple of shows, he played a couple of my birthday parties, and I know he got like $250. It was just him and his guitar. I would put him up, both times he played my birthdays. And plus I threw in an extra money. It was never, he never spent any money. But the thing is, I get it. I was at Phyllis's the last time I was out when I saw you a couple of weeks ago, and I went to Phyllis's, and they're like, well, Pete won't play here anymore. And,
oh, no?
Oh, yeah. The owner, Clem, he seemed kind of upset. But when I saw it firsthand and he's older than me, and I get it. I get why you're doing this. Yeah, of course you need to make your money. But, if he did get around to his original music that night, I don't know that he did. I didn't stay long enough. I saw like 1.5 sets. His daughter was there, by the way, I haven't seen her since before she went into college. Now she's a senior. So that was nice. But it was like a different person on stage that night. It wasn't the guy I used to hang out and share hotel rooms with and play pranks on. Right. I used to put body parts in his bed.
Michael, what are you working on these days? What's coming up?
I want to get back to real quick before you get there, though. Mike, why do you do the tribute thing? We were talking about this the other night.
Well, I mean, I just Marilyn Manson, that era of Marilyn Manson that we do was extremely influential on me as in developing as a musician. So choosing that.
But you play House of Blues. You play House of Blues with your Manson band. You play small rooms with your other stuff, like I've seen Kiss.
Yeah, I'm in an original band called Space Virus now, and we've had a few really good shows, but there's definitely a difference in opportunities and how the shows are, what kind of shows you're playing. There's definitely money to be made in the tribute scene for sure.
There's a local band.
Probably why people do it.
There's a local band I used to work with. They will remain nameless. They have a 9 Inch Nails tribute band and pack a house, and they were a really good band who I loved and did a lot of things with, but they found their success in a tribute act.
Well, and it's more lucrative. I hear that all over.
Yeah. But I don't think it's fair.
Well,
to guys like you, ACID.
Yeah, life's not fair, but
I think right, it's everyone I know who's succeeding in the tribute band scene, they're using that money to fund their original product or projects. I think it
Absolutely.
works out, and it's win-win. Like the audience is getting something great, whether they're seeing your original stuff or your tribute band. You're making money for playing music, and you can keep doing your art.
But it upsets me because
I
I'm
know.
old school. I like supporting original music, like this guy that came from Detroit.
Thank you.
You know, people like you and Michael, what you do on the side, which should be your main act. And unfortunately, you come all the way back here, make the drive to play a show once or twice a year. And by the way, you're calling from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, right?
Yeah. Don't say it too loud.
I love it out there. And Dale's out there. Hey, Dale, how you doing? So, yeah, back to Angela's question, though. What do you, we got through the tribute thing, I think. It just still pisses me off. I don't like it. I don't like seeing
I mean, you can use the tribute scene or your position in tribute band. You could use it as a vehicle for your original stuff. You know, you get people to pay attention to you that way, and then you can say, "Hey, I'm also doing this. If you like, you know, that we're doing this." So,
Yeah, but at the same time, you know what pissed me off?
But,
When I
but
saw
it's
those,
harder to get
when
good
I-
shows like that. You know, like House of Blues. You said we played
Yeah, it
House
was
of
great.
Blues, and that's awesome. I can't see any outside of some sort of pay to play situation. I couldn't see my other band getting up on that stage, which that
Exactly.
is, you know, a little sad, I suppose, you know, but people just don't want to take a chance.
well, I saw
I
this
guess,
Johnny.
on stuff like that.
I saw this Johnny Cash tribute band the other night, and I wondered how many people in the audience actually owns Johnny Cash's music. Because I'm a Johnny Cash purist. I've got his autograph in here. I've got Johnny Cash stuff. I've got a great collection of his music. But I bet over half those people don't even own it. Maybe if they do, it's like the essential or the greatest hits.
Right.
And but that's just my gripe on that. And I got that out of the way. Thanks. What are you working on now, man?
Oh, well, I'm doing some industrial stuff on my own, just solo stuff. I haven't put out a solo album for quite a while. It's probably been like 10 years since I actually put one that I didn't work on with anybody else. But then I don't know, I'm trying to like farm out some other tracks to some other people and get some more collaborations going on. I had that CD called Some Bleed Better, Volume 1, and so I'm working on Volume 2, and that was one where every song, I wrote the music, and every song had a different vocalist on it. And that was really rewarding back in 2014, I think I did that one.
Yeah, you were here then.
So I'm trying to do another one. Yeah, I was still out there. So I'm working on that too.
So we were talking about you moving back here, and it might not happen, huh?
Well, you know, that's a pretty complicated situation. I'd really like to, though. You know, being here is very stifling. You know, it's like my hometown. I spent so much time trying to escape here, and then I come back, and I'm like, why did I walk back into the trap, you know?
How long have you been back there in the hometown?
I think
Too long.
about 2.5 years, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
You know, funny story, when he moved to Chicago, one of the first things he did was come to one of my barbecues.
That was the first day.
Yeah.
The first day right after I moved into my apartment.
Yeah, and he was right over here and just fell in with the fam. So, hey, thanks. I know you're busy today and doing stuff. I appreciate you taking time out to share this phone call with us, and we'll see you soon, man. Thanks a lot. That's Michael X. Christian in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He's got great music on his own, and you can learn more about him. You can email me at podcast@mkultramagazine.com.
You're listening to the MK Ultrasound podcast. Please feel free to contact us at podcasts@mkultramagazine.com.
Did I make my point there? You guys think?
About your distaste
like
for the tribute scene.
Yeah.
I think it came across.
Good. I just want to get that. And you're a little bit quiet, but let's talk about something fun. Okay. Violence on the CTA.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
So it's it's just a never-ending thing. So Friday, as I was leaving work, and I get notices on my phone when something screwed up happens on the CTA. And luckily, I don't work downtown Chicago anymore. I don't have to take the train down to the city. I take it to the north side, and I want to get to see things like people defecating in public and stuff like that.
That was a good story.
That was
the pooping on the CTA story.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think I saw
Yes.
that one.
Yeah, it was bizarre. So, but downtown it's violent. And last week when I was coming back from the suburbs to do the show that won't ever be aired, I rode the metro an hour into the city. Then I transferred to the red line. And within 10 minutes, this young black man passes out and falls asleep with his head in my lap. I kid you the fuck not. It's like, welcome home, Alex.
Nice.
It's like he just passed out. And I wanted to yell, get the fuck off me. But I was afraid I got stabbed, got shot, or somebody else would call me an asshole for doing it. Well, why would you yell at a man like that? He needs help. Well, don't help yourself to my lap. You know, somebody said he was probably looking for my cell phone. So yesterday, Friday at 4:30, there was a black male going from the train to train, which is illegal, but I see it every day. Every day that I ride the train, I see black guys going from train to train, which is illegal. I also see people in between trains, in between cars, smoking while the train's moving. That would scare the fuck out of me.
That's brave.
I would be too afraid to even go between trains. So I'd step and fall down into the tracks and get killed.
What are they smoking, though?
They're smoking. Well, now it's legal here, so who cares? But yeah, it always smells like weed on the CTA anyway. So Friday, these two cops were trying to arrest this guy, was going train to train. No, we don't know what happened, why they were going after him. We don't know what happened. We know the two cops are taken off duty. They were two black cops that shot an unarmed black male. And they shot him twice. And he went into, you can see it on TV. You can watch it. You go to WGN.com or ChicagoTribune.com. You can see the footage of it because people like filming shit like this.
See, what was he doing, though?
Well, we don't know other than going train to train, but something happened. It got two cops to go at him, and they tased him. They pepper sprayed him, and he wouldn't. It was like Rodney King. He wouldn't go down. He was, and the cops were saying, "Quit resisting, quit resisting." Well, then I don't know why they shot him, which I think it was uncalled for. But here's my point: if that would have been a white cop, the headlines would have been "White Chicago police officer shoots unarmed black male." They don't even say unarmed male in when they report it now. It's just like Chicago police involved shooting. It is so crazy that there's at least a shooting every week now. It is dangerous to go downtown. And your mother's going downtown right now.
Yes, she is. And if anybody out there messes with my mother, I wouldn't.
I'll be with them too. I've got a ball bat.
But I think something that the media doesn't often, portray and include in the stories is a lot of times these people that are getting shot are acting a fucking fool. I mean,
of course they're always I see it every day. Yeah. But I mean, in my day though, when you don't challenge a police officer,
right.
Police officer says stop, put your hands on the wheel. You do it. Bingo. Now people challenge them.
Yeah, because people are fucking idiots.
Yeah, total idiots. So you have military background, right?
I guess you could say connection is the best way to put it.
Okay.
I'm a officer's brat. My father was in the United States Marine Corps. He was a lifer. My whole family was lifers. We spent like 16, 17 years on base living that lifestyle. So connection.
And a lot of military people become police officers.
My police officer too.
My father was a Green Beret, and it was a sheriff for like 5 terms. Cool. So yeah, and my brother, my middle brother Eric, he was in the 82nd Airborne also, and he's a deputy. So I don't know why people challenge the police.
Yeah, a lot of time. I mean, cops get a bad rap, but from my experiences, a lot of cops cut people a lot of slack.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the idiots that take up all that slack and then try to pull a little bit more that end up getting capped,
So
play stupid games.
And one that pisses me off, too, the whole thing, there's so much racial tension here after the Laquan McDonald shooting and that cop that shot him, 16 times?
16 times.
16 times.
The video footage is absolutely horrifying.
Sure.
Right. And there's that. And then you got Chelsea Smollett pulling his shit. I'm like, you want to pull this shit? We've already have enough racial tension between the colored community of black and brown and the Chicago police. Now this guy pulls this stunt, which in my eyes, what he did is a hate crime. It's a fucking hate crime. And it's and he threw two black guys under the bus on it. And he's saying, well, they dressed up in MAGA hats and threw a rope over me and dumped bleach on me. When the proof shows that he hired them to do that. So this upsets me. And the whole CTA thing that happens week after week, day after day, I'm just done with it, the insanity.
It's pretty unbelievable, really. I mean, a lot of the shit that you see in the media, social media and everything else, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I'm going through the timeline on social media. I see all this crap. What the fuck?
What a great lead into what we're going to talk about next. Yes. Is social media hysteria. I want to play this clip that from HBO Friday Night Bill Maher for New Rules. Do you watch Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO?
No, I don't have cable, and I watch almost zero television.
Same.
I stream this, and I love Bill Maher most of the time. He's like center left. He actually rags on the far lefties, super liberals. I don't even know what you call them anymore. He's not into the progressive thing.
Keep my mouth shut on that.
I call them my friends and my community, to be very honest. That's
fine.
what I call them.
And that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
We're not here to agree, but I think we can agree with what I'm going to play now. It's about 5 minutes, and we'll be right back.
And finally, new rule, Americans need to find a better way to say, I disagree with your position than I'm going to kill you. It's one of the few things the left and the right have in common now. Adam Schiff and Chuck Schumer received death threats for impeaching Trump, and Susan Collins got death threats for not impeaching him. A guy named Salvatore Lippa was arrested last week for calling Schiff's office and saying, I dare you to come to New York because I will put a bullet in your fucking forehead. And then he went back to the bar and started screaming, how come women don't like nice guys? Last week, some Bernie bros got very angry at the culinary union in Nevada for preferring their own current health care plan to Bernie's Medicare for All. And as we know, the price for advocating for an alternative health care plan is death. Except these are people on your own team, fellow workers, fellow Democrats with a slightly different idea, who you want to kill. This is what was so frightening to Karamo Brown, one of the stars on Queer Eye, who got death threats after saying he planned to be nice to Republican Sean Spencer on Dancing with the Stars. Mr. Brown said, the minute that my son started getting death threats was the worst moment for me because a lot of it wasn't coming from the other side. It was coming from my own side, his own side. Death threats from liberals to children. Over this? Why don't they just make an app for death threats? You could call it Ender. Look, I'm not saying there's no place for blind bloodlust, like in the Bible, or when they run out of the chicken sandwich at Popeyes. But everything? A singer who wore her support for Trump proudly to the Grammys got death threats. Gayle King got death threats for asking a too-soon question about Kobe Bryant. Ilhan Omar gets death threats for being an immigrant, and death threats went out to a woman who wrote a pro-immigrant book because she wasn't actually an immigrant. The Ukraine whistleblower got death threats, and nobody even knew who it was. They just sent open letters to whom it may concern, I'm going to kill you. This is what happens when you let cancel culture spin out of control. It's the same attitude, just taken a little further. We take your livelihood, let's just go ahead and take your life. Because all the geniuses in this country are so 1,000,000% sure they're right about everything, that it's always just my way or the die way. You know, Trump may want to be a dictator, but he is hardly alone. A lot of people in this country love to say, off with their head. Don't like that thing you purchased? Threaten to burn down the factory. Don't agree with someone who won the Oscar? Tell them you're going to find where they live and slit their throat. Don't like the call the ref made at your kid's soccer game? Send them a picture of you brandishing an axe. When did Americans become the fatwa people? Every minor dispute has to go from 0 to Mel Gibson in 3 seconds? Did you know that the new pop sensation Billie Eilish spent her big night at the Grammys apologizing for winning? Yeah, because her overriding emotion wasn't pride, it was fear that superfans of rival pop stars would attack her. Oh, if only we had this kind of passion for something that mattered in this country. Billie Eilish kept winning all night, and she kept saying things like, no, and please don't let it be me. and all the other artists in this category. I know your fans are going to talk shit about me for years because of this. Imagine being 18, winning 5 Grammys, and all you could think of is, oh shit, they know where I live. You know things are out of control when even potheads are issuing death threats. Yeah. Reporter Alex Berenson recently cited a link between weed legalization and a rise in violent crime, and pro-cannabis activists wanted his head on a pike. Let me tell you, if you're a stoner and you want to kill someone, you might consider switching from sativa to indica.
That was awesome. So
I agree.
with what I think that made a lot of sense. And
Absolutely.
I like to say that, like, when the debates are on, I watched a documentary on the debates on last week. I watched a documentary on Doc Holliday because I don't need to watch the debates. All I have to do is look at Facebook.
Right.
It's play by play.
I have a friend who I get reports from. That's how I do it.
And I wait till the next morning and watch the news and get the important bites out of it. And to me, all it looked like with the sound down, 7 people waving their arms in the air. That's all I saw. And you could put that to metal music.
Directing traffic and shit.
It was like every one of them at the same time. Like it was the craziest thing. Everybody yelling.
Pretty much.
And then out of 8 candidates running for president in the Democratic Party, only 7 were represented because they will not let Tulsi Gabbard have a voice. And she's the only one that's calm. She's not yelling and waving her hands around. She's cool. But
Yeah, I can't even bring myself to pay attention to that shit anymore. I it's past the point of desensitization or you know what I'm
I
saying?
got you. Yeah, exactly.
Seeing so much of that crap in the media, you get so tired of it and then you get used to it, and
How does that work into your music?
it causes a lot of stress because obviously, you know, I'm the only person that does everything, so I have to take care of social media, you know, advertising, managing, all that crap. So I have to see, you know, a timeline full of nonsense every day, all day, if I want to accomplish anything. So it gets to the point where I just kind of have to filter it out, and I actually use a lot of filters to.
Does it affect your songwriting and your creating of your craft?
Yeah, sometimes if I'm not careful, I have to kind of compartmentalize how I do things. If I'm focusing on promotion, social media, marketing, and all that kind of stuff, I don't make music.
How long have you been doing Acid Casualty?
Since about 2011, 2012, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you reached out to us and sent me some clips, and then I sent them to Mark, our executive producer, and he hits me back immediately. You got to listen to this shit. I'm like, you write this up. He goes, you got to listen to it. It's good.
Awesome.
It is really good. And
you.
you played at Convergence.
Yes, I did. That was awesome. It was a hell of a good show. Everybody, the bands, the crowd, people involved. It was
Who
just
else was
awesome.
on? I was at the very first Convergence in Chicago, the hot summer of '95 when all those people were dying, and stayed at a hostel with no air conditioning.
Oh, fuck that.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 105 every day, and I'm wearing leather pants.
Not
Miserable.
cool.
Your sweat, your sweat just,
No.
you feel your legs, the drops of your sweat going down your legs when you wear leather and heat like that. Yeah. But so who played on the bill with Convergence when you played?
Oh, man, it's hard to even remember. I know Ego Likeness played. They're one of the more memorable ones because they're one of my favorite groups I found on the internet. So it was an honor to share the stage with them. So it was just a hell of a good time. And it's one of those things, I think, if you say you remember it, you weren't really there.
So yeah, exactly. I hung out, when I went to Convergence, hung out with the Electric Hellfire Club.
Oh, cool.
And that's when I first met them after doing a phone interview with them, and then became lifelong friends of the band. And that's what I was playing before you all showed up. I was listening to Hellfire Club with my back door open and just loving it and remembering, man, I loved that band.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked with their members individually and as a group for many, many years. Like some of them, Sabrina Satana wrote for MK Ultra, and Greg Miner, the guitar player on Kiss the Goat, is one of my very, very best friends. One of my very best friends. And Rick Torre in Milwaukee, who has Wolfpack 44. I hope to have on the show soon. And you're working on a industrial music story with Mark Williams, right?
I am. He and I have been working on this for about a month. It's a sprawling piece, just looking at industrial music's roots. We are talking to real veterans from industrial music, from the performance side through production, promotion, the critics. It's a really big, fun piece to write.
Name drop. Who's in it?
Name drop?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we've got Sasha from KMFDM in there. We have Reed Himes. Is that how we say
that's
his?
Reed Himes.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah.
Founder of
Chicago
Chicago Tracks.
Yes, we've got him. We've got Martin Atkins. Iotoya, we're talking with her. We have the editor for Regen Magazine, and I don't know how to say his
Super
name.
cool guy, yeah.
Is it Ilker?
He's a huge
I feel
supporter
so
of
bad.
what we do here.
Awesome guy.
Fantastic.
But yeah, we just have a bunch of great voices going on in this. And
Ken in Detroit.
yes. What is it? Sounds and Shadows. I think
You know
he
the guy?
runs
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got
He's
him.
involved in
Cool.
it. So we just have some really great voices talking about the history and the current state of industrial music. That's what we're really looking at is where are we now? Is it coming back? That's the question
It
that
seems
started
like it.
with.
It's evolving.
I like that
Always
it's
changing.
evolving. I always want to look at what will the critics say about my hypothesis, right? So we start with, is there a resurgence of industrial music? And so my question isn't this just the pattern of music? Now it's 30 years old, they're 30 years older, their bank accounts, their lives are 30 years older. Are they just touring, or is something happening?
I think people got burnt out with the popularity of Nails, and there were so many bands like Nails, Stabbing Westward being one of them, that it oversaturated the market. And Cleopatra Records, I worked with Cleo and Invisible from the beginning. And but before Nails, what reminds me of your music, Acid Casualty, is I got into 242 and Netzereb. It was the stuff that I got into in college radio, and I'm like, that's what turned me on to industrial music. And at that time, it didn't even really have a name.
Yeah. See, it's hard to explain my story. I spent most of my life, just like we said earlier, on a military base, like most of it. And we never went off into civilian land or anything else. So music wasn't always available. When I discovered industrial music, it was just Nine Inch Nails. Like I hadn't even heard of Skinny Puppy or 242 or anybody else until almost the point that I started making industrial music, and just crazy.
I like your stuff, and you remind me of the old school people that I like.
Thanks.
I like that, the old wax track stuff in the early days, and even before Nails, there was Skinny Puppy, and that was a phenomenal band. I've got a tattoo.
It's just crazy that I never even knew about them until way later. I couldn't even believe it when I discovered.
So your
them.
gateway drugs was Nails?
Yeah, absolutely. The first time I bought Downward Spiral and Pretty Hate Machine, I sat there and listened to it like, God damn, what the fuck is this?
Well, we've got 2 songs and 2 videos from you this week, and I want to play the first one. It's The Art
of Determination.
And do you want to set it up? Tell us a little bit about this song.
Sure. It's the title track, I believe, from an EP I released a couple of years ago called The Art of Determination. It's just the overall underlying theme's the same as all my other music. Overcoming adversity, not letting anything stand in your way. If you got something you want to do, fucking do it.
That's very positive.
Actually, surprisingly enough, a lot of my stuff is pretty positive.
That's great. Well, let's play that. We'll come right back. We got 5 minutes on each song here, so everybody enjoy.
Show no weakness. Take the fight to the streets. War drum pounding. Just feel the beat. Broken will. Learn defeat.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thanks for opening the month with us, because we're going to have a lot of industrial music this month. And on the 15th, we're doing 2 shows. One with Ayatoya. Anya's going to be back on the show to debut a new song, a new mix, a new video.
Very cool.
That same day, her band, the Joy Thieves, are going to be on the show. We'll do a show with that. And I'm also going to debut on a podcast the new Mace song. It's like the first Mace song and video in over 20 years from my friend Peter Galliard in Pittsburgh, who's from Poland and grew up in the same town as Anya.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I showed you the video. What'd you think?
I liked the video. Do they know each other? I'm so curious.
Yeah, they're
about
friends.
that.
Yeah.
But did they know
No.
each other? Okay.
Only through the musical community.
Got you.
And when I met her, and I mentioned Peter, and she goes, "Oh yeah, we're from the same town." Same thing with Mortis.
Very cool.
Like Mortis and I are friends. So yeah, you're like the old school industrial. There's I hear a lot of Skinny Puppy, kind of even like Leather Strip in there, which is 2 of my favorites.
That's just the way it ends up, really. I mean, I don't set out when I'm writing music to try to sound like anything. I'm really influenced by what I'm listening to at the time. So I listen to a lot of 90s music, a lot of 90s industrial. So
that's some good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
There's really, I love the compilations that I got from Cleopatra, because it's a good overview of the whole movement. It was really big. About 95, it was huge. Industrial music and goth.
And it's just you, right? Like you are writing everything, you're performing, you're recording, you're mixing. It's excellent.
What's your live show like? What do you? How did you do Convergence? Was it you and your synthesizer?
I have to ask somebody that was there, I guess. It went great. Yeah, I mean, the crowd loved it. You know, the audience always loves it, and you know, we usually get nothing but positive feedback. And as far as the writing and everything, I do everything myself. Write the music, run the social media myself. Pretty much everything. The videos.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about 10 full-time jobs. But when I'm playing live shows, I usually will hire somebody, hired guns, people I know in the industry or whatever, and I've worked with a lot of awesome professionals that have done some amazing shows, and pretty proud of it.
What's Detroit like these days?
Shit. Michigan in general, Battle Creek, it's all shit.
I had to ask. I think of Battle Creek, I think Kellogg's.
Yeah, it smells like cereal in the air, so I think that's why everybody's kind of silly around there. Cornflake dust in the air is kind of
got in their brains.
Yep.
Huh?
So I'm gonna push for. I'm gonna talk to Mark tomorrow. He's busy today. Mark Williams, our executive producer, has spent the last week in studio with Martin Atkins mixing down the new Live Pigface record.
Wow.
Yeah. And
have you heard any of the
No.
finished? I haven't either. I heard some of the raw stuff.
Okay.
That he originally got in, and I can't wait to hear it finished. I know he and Martin were holed up, putting some pictures on social media pretty late at night, just knocking it out.
That's how they work, man.
Yeah.
And you just, the studio rats, like you probably, like when you're in, you just got to do long benders.
Oh, yeah.
And like the guys in the joint, Matt Clark, I get messages from him at 5:30 in the morning when I'm showering, getting ready for work.
Yep, that sounds about right.
He hasn't been to bed yet.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to having them back on. They're always a good time. Of course, we all adore Anya, and Ayatoya stuff is fantastic. Now let's play another song. You gave me a remix for original mix of your song King Outcast. And so the file said remix. Tell us about the version we're going to play.
Okay, the version you're going to play is it's actually not a remix. It's the original version. I think it was, 2014, 2015, something like that is when I originally put out a short EP, King Outcast. And I shot one music video for it, had
I like
another
it.
version. Thank you. And I didn't like it at the time. I was like, fuck, this sucks. I showed it to someone else in the business, and they gave me their criticism.
Oh, I enjoy it.
And so I decided not to use it. I was like, okay, fuck this shit. I went and did a different version, put that version out. And I think it was only last month I came across the old version of the song and the video, and I was like, wow, that actually wasn't that bad. That was pretty cool. And I finished what I set out to do to begin with and put it out, and there it is.
Well, thanks for sharing. And then we're going to play King Outcast right now on the MK Ultrasound podcast.
Lone survivor. King Outcast. This one's for the loners.
That's Sonic LSD, man.
That's right.
Great stuff.
Makes me want to drop acid. It really does.
Electronic drugs.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go dancing. Makes me
Right?
want to go to
That's-
Neo. Want
yeah.
Neo to be
Oh,
open
yeah.
and
Oh, those are the
Go run
best
around
reactions ever. I mean, hearing feedback like that is why I do
Oh,
this.
it's like totally the shit I love, man. Thanks. And
Thank you.
thanks for reaching out to us way back
Hey,
when. And it's
thank
nice.
you for having me.
Fuck yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I remember when he sent the songs to me, I sent to Mark, hey, give us a listen and a review.
Oh, I'm sure he
and
loved
Mark
it.
shoots back. Mark's like, you got to listen to this shit.
yeah.
You
Love
got
it.
it. He doesn't get excited like I do, vocally, but
He's
Mark's
nonchalant.
passionate in
That's
his own
art.
way. He's like, you've got to listen. He's like, you've got to listen to this.
That's what's up.
And
I believe it.
it's fantastic stuff.
Well,
It's
thank
like,
you,
oh,
everybody. I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
it.
man. Thank you. It's like 55 degrees here today. The back door is open. I'm going to grill after the show. I've got burgers and
Yes.
brats, and I'm excited about it. Cassie, we have nothing vegetarian friendly for you. Sorry.
Poor Cassie.
This is an industrial month, though. We're gonna, this show is leading into the other shows we've got coming up, and so I'm gonna have the great Donnie V from Enough's Enough. You sent me a blog that he wrote on Facebook, and he was reaching out to podcasters and magazines, wants to tell his story about what's going on with him right now. And there's a lot of drama that you could read about on sleazeRocks.com. And so I emailed him, and then I heard from him, and he sent me his manager's information. And I would ideally like to have him on 1 week, and then John Monaco on the following week, who were both in the same band.
Correct.
What was the gist of his post
Of Donnie's post
that you
I
sent to me? Yeah.
He and Chip's Enough of Enough's Enough and Donnie V, these are the two founding members. They've played music together for decades. They've written some really beautiful songs, and their paths have split for whatever reasons at this point, as happens after decades of that kind of intense partnership. But we're in the social media age, so everybody has a platform, and you have it 24/7, and opinions are going out from both camps, and it's kind of going back and forth, and it's a little bit of a public, maybe a feud. That might be the right word at this point. I hope
it's
not.
An ugly divorce. It's a very
yes,
ugly-
that's a great way to put it. It's an ugly divorce. I hope that the friendship that those two had, because I witnessed it, they're my old neighbors.
Right.
I used to sit and watch them listening to their new tracks very happily together. So I hope they come through that, but I think it's great you're going to get him on here.
Don's dealing with a lot of his past issues with drugs.
It's awesome.
Controlled
He's
substances.
dealing with mental health issues and his addiction issues. He's talking really openly about it on his social media. So I hope when he's here that I would assume he'll get into some of that. I would
for
love
sure.
to talk with him about that, especially with my take. ACID Casualty, you don't know, I run a blog, Coffee or Suicide, and I differentiate between talking about mental health and mental illness. I talk
Actually,
about
do
mental
know.
illness. You
I
do?
found it, yes, because I was researching you guys' show, and it
Awesome.
seems like I saw an episode where you were talking about substance abuse and things like this.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Donnie and I can kind of talk a little bit about that stuff, because he's mental health and I'm mental illness.
Well, I'm all of the above, and as much as I try to
Awesome.
avoid talking about it, I know that talking about things can help other people out there, and it's something I wouldn't mind touching on, because it's something that I've been through not only in the past but recently. During the time period that I was writing the new album that's out now, The Beginning Is Here, I lost more friends than I can have fingers and toes to count on.
Wow.
From drugs. Some of them were
That's
overseas
heavy.
serving their country and stuff, so that was good. But
Yeah.
most of them were drugs, and the fentanyl and the garbage that's out on the street right now, it's just fucked up and horrible. And
It is.
my best friend in the world should be here right now with us, but he's not. Cheese, I miss you, man.
Ouch. Yeah, on my end, it's substance and suicide. A lot of suicide. Cassie and I lost a friend.
Same.
It got 3 years ago. Suicide during Exotica, and it's not the same doing Exotica without Maggie. And Maggie's mom was here during a show once, and it's hard. And she was like, whenever Curse Mackie or any, the people will come here and stay for long periods of time, Maggie was here partying with us.
Oh, wow.
But she was in so much pain with fibromyalgia and everything else she was going through that she just couldn't deal with the pain anymore.
And that's I can so understand that, because that's been a big problem I've had. Is that I suffer a lot of serious chronic pain. I've suffered a lot of traumatic injuries. I have a lot of serious health problems as a result of the contaminated water on Camp Lejeune, which people might not know is the worst case of chemically contaminated water in United States history.
Where is this?
Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. It's a Marine Corps base. Chemically contaminated water for, I think it was like 40, 50 years, something like that. It was our first rotation. I was there from the time I was about 1 to 4 years old, and I was exposed to it, lots of health problems. So I've struggled with a lot of the same stuff, everything from suicide to chronic pain to drug abuse, drug dependence. And, the chronic pain complicates things. It definitely does. It makes...
Oh, I suffer. Well, lately I haven't had the problem, but I think we've talked about my insomnia before. I've gone 4 days with no sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And my mind my body's dead. My mind won't shut off.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like, it'd just be so easy to eat a bunch of pills right now. And because it's painful not being able to sleep. And you just lay there and like, I've got to go to work. Yeah. And you're shaking from lack of sleep.
Right. And your mind's not right at that point. When you're that
no.
sleep deprived, you're not making clear
decisions
at all.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're getting so heavy here, and it happens when I get on the mic. I'm so sorry.
I think these are things.
Maybe it'll help people.
These are things we need to talk about. Yeah, because you're not alone.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's the whole point of what I do. Like, I put some grossly personal stuff out there on my blog. I don't know if you've read the actual blogs, but and sometimes I have this, like, I love it. Brene Brown. I don't know if anyone's familiar. Probably not in this room. She talks about vulnerability hangovers. When you throw something that personal out there, like I hide for days. Right. It's rough, but it does help. It helps me in the end, and it helps other people, and then I feel good because I help the other people.
I know you shut down social media. I sometimes just go a couple of days. I just don't want to fucking talk to anybody. And I won't answer my phone, and I don't get online, and people just start freaking out. You haven't posted. I'm like, I don't live on social media like you fuckers do.
Yeah, I'll get people yelling at me and shit.
I know, right? We're going to call the cops to do a check-in on you because we have I'm like, just let me have mental health time, man.
Right.
I need to fucking get in a different space and just not think about the podcast, not think about all the drama that goes on with the fucking shit that goes on with this show.
Yep.
And just to make it happen and have people into my house every week. It's like, you don't want to toll that.
People don't even understand what goes on behind having to deal with social media. I mean, you might see the trolling, the bullying, all that kind of bullshit, but the full extent, I don't think people really understand, nor do they understand the toll it takes on the artist or the person, the content creator.
That's got to be horrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an energetic demand that comes with running social media and really being attentive to it. That's exhausting.
When we first started this show, that new season of Black Mirror came on, and people were on social media were going ape shit crazy over the fact that Miley Cyrus covered a 9 Inch Nails song, going nuts, like hateful, like what the things Bill Maher was talking about. Like, I thought it was a cool version. It was like, and it went with Trent's Blessing, and people were upset. I'm like, I think that
people are silly.
I mean, she's like,
Agreed.
She probably turned a lot of people on the Nails that never heard of Nails before. Yeah. And I don't like her music or her persona. I don't know what she's like as a real person. She could be down to earth and not this person's out there sticking her tongue out. Yeah. I know what it's like to act in front of a camera and then be yourself. It's like when you're Alexander in public, sometimes you've got to be the maniac. You got to be the madman. People don't see the guy that sits home in his sweats and drinks coffee and binge watches movies.
Well, and that's important time. You have to do that or you can't do the rest.
That's a big problem I've had is my contact surface area on the internet is so large that I can't take breaks sometimes because a lot of it, your interaction is based on how much you are active. So when I take a break for a couple of days, it actually has an effect on my reach and stuff. So it's like, man.
Yes.
Well, Angela has taught me the importance of posting memes.
Yeah,
I know.
absolutely.
I taught you about memes, and we talk about algorithms.
I'm getting tons of hits on these things. It's insane.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've got to show you the thing when we're done.
Okay.
I don't know how to read this shit.
Yeah, we'll go to the back end of it. And I'll talk.
It's amazing. It's like I'll get a note from Facebook like, you're getting a lot of reaction to this post. It's like a stupid meme, which I never thought about doing before, but it works obviously. Yeah. And
politicians use memes. They talk about the meme game for the politicians and who's been hired.
What it is, it's an effective way. I don't want to say propaganda because it's not quite that, but Sort of. It's
It is, I think.
information warfare. That's the best
Yes.
way to put it. Marketing is the same as propaganda, all that kind of stuff. When you can make somebody laugh, it brings their guard down. If you can slip a message in there somewhere and slip it under the door, kind of, it makes it a very effective way to reach people. Make them laugh.
I love that breakdown of it, because what I told Alex, the golden rule I learned in marketing was just the rule of three posts a day, something to make them laugh, something serious, and your own stuff. So framing it that way, that you're going to bring their guard down, and now we're going to put this information in that you want.
We've got a new follower and a friend, Athena Flieger, who I tell her, like, your memes make my day. I'm having a rough day at work, and I'll see one of her memes, and I'm like, you really, I need this. Yeah. I truly, and she's a big industrial supporter, huge, and she's like, so she's having health issues of her own, but she posts these things. I'm like, how do you find time to be funny? And by the way, I'm stealing them. I'm like, I'm sorry I'm stealing, but some of them are so good. I don't have time to search for this stuff. Let's take a break. We'll come right back.
Every great day starts with a cup of get the fuck out of bed coffee from Martin Atkins and Dark Matter Coffee. Go to darkmattercoffee.com. Look for the big red logo that says get the fuck out of bed. America runs on damage, and it all starts with a cup of get the fuck out of bed coffee. There are 10 commandments and there are 7 deadly sins, but there is only one MK Ultra Magazine. Visit us daily online at www.mkultramagazine.com for entertainment news, reviews, and interviews. mkultramagazine.com, home of Alexander's Diary of a Damned Man. That's mkultramagazine.com.
I should have bought a 6-pack of Corona for our barbecue thing.
Oh, no.
Did you see that? Seriously, did you see that thing this week where people were afraid to buy Corona beer?
No.
And the sales have gone down. Did you know this? Let me pull it up
I
real
have
quick.
seen him
This
send
is
whispers. Didn't know it was
absolutely-
real.
People are silly, man.
Yeah, I mean, Mortis brought that up when I was talking to Mortis. He's like drinking a Corona beer, and he's like, okay, Corona beer sounds like coronavirus. A survey, 38% of Americans won't buy Corona beer under any circumstances because of the Corona's outbreak.
38% of Americans are very stupid then.
There you go. I was just going to say that. 30%.
This is, well, those are the people who live on social media.
Pretty
I
much.
think. So another headline in Fox Business, Corona beer dwizzles amid coronavirus outbreak. Corona beer sales down because of coronavirus. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And so I was, at the store. Shelves are going empty. I went today to get some bottled water for this show, and I just checked at Walgreens, and they're sold out of masks. They can't keep them in stock. This morning I wake up, the first case in Cook County of coronavirus. By the time we got here together, the three of us, the third case confirmed. That's by like 1 this afternoon. 3 cases. This is like happening so fast. Washington State, we had a death, and LA or California, there's a person who's hasn't traveled, hasn't been in contact with anybody who has coronavirus. What do you think about this?
I think it's a lot of hysteria for the most part. I mean, every year about this time, it seems like there's some kind of outbreak. There was swine flu, this flu, bird flu, that flu. It's like this. Fear inspires consumption.
It does.
Straight up.
That sounded like a Dr. Seuss thing for a minute.
Might have been.
But yeah, I mean, I ride the train every day, and I see people eating on the train when there's like 1 million plus people ride it a day, and their dirty hands on stuff, and people were eating and touching stuff, eating with their fingers. Like, eating on the CTA is gross to begin with. I saw somebody eating chicken wings, which is the sloppiest thing you can eat with your fingers.
It's pretty gross on the CTA.
CTA is
very gross.
So I have a question. I would like to know what the numbers would look like if we were tracking community cases of influenza A this year, because what you said that we've got, our third case here in Illinois. Well, how many flu A's did we have? And that's not to downplay it. Like, we had been talking during break. I said, I have an inner germaphobe. I like, my capacity to fucking panic and be afraid of things is intense. It is on steroids always. So I work really hard to freak out about only the right things. Coronavirus has fucked me up because I have these two sides of me. Part of me is just like, the sky is falling. This is it.
Same here.
But also what you said, fear drives consumption. I'm looking at other illnesses that we have. I am concerned, and I'll tell you what concerns me the most are the images of that doctor in China, the whistleblower doctor. Who wanted to tell everyone it's worse and bigger than you think. And then he died in the hospital with the mask on. That's where I start to go crazy when I envision him.
You see how fast they're building those hospitals there. And my brother told me in the beginning, he says, look at the aerial photos. Looks like mass graves they're digging. Looks like mass. And I looked at the construction. They're throwing up hospitals in a week.
Now, that's what really pisses me off, though. It's so hard to tell what is real and what's bullshit in social media nowadays. I mean, I'm a pretty goddamn intelligent person. If I'm having a hard time telling difference, that's saying there's something fucking wrong. I don't know whether it's hysteria or whether they're underreporting it. Something that kind of freaks me out is why are they not reporting how it's affecting all the kiddos out there? There's nothing about
I don't trust the media anyway. At all.
Don't trust the media.
And I wish there was a way to read what the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta. That's where CDC is, right? Atlanta, Georgia. I would like to read what they're putting out, but I think that everything's filtered by the time it gets to us.
Absolutely.
And people who open their mouths and they just seem to go away.
Yeah.
Like the person you mentioned, the doctor. That's scary.
You use the phrase information wars and this falls under that to me. That's we don't know exactly what you said. Is this being underreported or blown out of proportion? We don't know, so wash your fucking hands. That's...
It's kind of hard for me to even talk about stuff like that. I mean, it's like you said, people start talking about the wrong thing and they fucking disappear. You're talking about China, but, I hate to say it, but it's not that far off here. It's really not. I mean, if the person said the wrong damn thing, something could happen. I mean,
Epstein
didn't kill himself. Exactly, but I mean, he was a fucking scumbag anyway.
Do you think is Weinstein going to be next? Rikers Island, man, that guy. I
don't know how he'll do in there. I really don't know.
Did you like how he went to court on a walker? It's like, come on, you fucking creep. Yeah. I don't understand.
Thank you for calling him a creep.
He must have been on a power trip, a fucking power trip. And to have that kind of power and to get beautiful young actresses to do that. It's just, who comes out of their room in a bathrobe and says, let me eat you? It's just, especially that guy, That's like Ron Jeremy coming out like, hey, in a bathrobe.
That's who, though? People with power. Yes, people with power do that.
That is really fucked.
Not all of them.
Power corrupts absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
You're listening to the MKUltrasound podcast. Please feel free to contact us at podcasts@mkultramagazine.com.
As we were doing that last bit, Anya was messaging me, and as you were talking, I was getting back to her, and then my phone was ringing. I didn't turn my volume down because I had the caller. So I think it might have been her. But, I mean, don't you know this is when we do the podcast on Sundays? Guess what time it is? It's time for Kiss Trivia.
All right.
So my guests are going to read me 3 questions and see if I win or lose. So, Angela, you want to go first?
Okay. What Kiss contest required a picture of yourself?
Oh, God.
Time's
Kiss condom?
ticking. No. Win a Kiss pinball machine. That would be so great to have one of those.
Okay, go ahead. Acid?
My question?
Yeah.
Okay, question. What single was released in October 1977 to promote Kiss Alive 2?
Rock and Roll. Shoot, Kiss Alive 2. What was the question again? What single?
What single was released in October 1977 to promote Kiss Alive 2?
I had that album when it came out in 77. Was it I Stole Your Love?
No, it was not.
What was it?
Shout It Out Loud.
Damn. Fuck, I'm losing.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. Paul recently contributed his distinctive vocal talents to what coffee commercial?
Folgers.
Oh, you knew that right away. Look at that. When was that? Because I don't know when these were made. So recently.
That was like
means nothing here.
Late 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. And about the time he was doing the Phantom of the Opera in Canada.
Okay.
Your turn.
Next. Okay. What was Kiss's highest charting album in 1998?
Psycho Circus.
Nope.
Right? No?
Nope.
Oh, wait.
1998. Don't have my glasses on.
Oh, fuck. Highest charting album?
Yes.
Destroyer?
Love Gun.
Damn, I
Number
love that
4.
album. Okay, one more from you, Angela.
One more. What is Peter Chris's birth date?
Oh, it's December. He's a Sagittarius. God damn it.
You don't even like him, and you know his zodiac sign.
Yeah.
You know how fucking delighted I am right now.
Mega fan.
I hate fucking Peter Criss. But I will be sad when he dies. I won't be as happy as I like to say I would be, because I would be sad, because that's a big part of my childhood and my youth and my whole rock and roll background was Kiss. Okay, December 20th.
Yes. Do you know the year?
What?
What's the year?
Oh God, no, he's old. He's the oldest one. Okay, Acid.
Another one? Okay.
Last one.
Where was Music from the Elder recorded?
Fuck. The producer on that was Bob Ezrin, who did Destroyer and also did Pink Floyd The Wall. And where was it recorded? Ace Frehley's Hole in the Wall. Ace Frehley's. No, what was it?
The Record Plant in New York, New York.
Fuck yeah, the Record Plant. I always think Robert Plant when I hear the Record Plant.
Robert Plant.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Wow. So then I just got another message. Get this. Can we come on the 22nd? Main Joy Thief Dan can't come on the 15th. I told him I'm at studio now, just found out. Or do we do the 15th without him? Cassie, we've got Metavon from Lockjaw coming down from Milwaukee on the 22nd. Are you okay with doing 2 shows on the 22nd as opposed to the 15th, Cassie? We were going to do 2. Okay. Yeah, we should be able to do that. So that'll be interesting. And, well, thanks for playing the Kiss Trivia thing. And do we have we want a break.
Want a killer look without breaking your wallet? Try Killer Beards. All beard products are made with natural ingredients to stop beard dandruff and itching before it starts, while giving you a smooth, silky beard that smells amazing. Choose from 5 amazing scents that will have everyone saying, "Wow, that's a killer beard, and it sure does smell good." Also available are shampoo and bars of rough cut soap. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Etsy at etsy.com/shop/Killer Beards. That's Killer Beards. Use the discount code MKUltra20 for 20% off. That's MKUltra20.
I gave my boss, Dan, some Killer Beards Looney Bin samples.
What did he think?
And, Killer Beards is my son's company. Mm-hmm. He loves it.
Good.
He wrote to me from Florida. He absolutely loves it. And because he's Jewish, so he's got a really good beard. Like he'll shave, and then like a week later, he's got a full beard again. And that's Jewish people, man. They grow fucking beards. Hairy. They're known for their beards. And look at the members of Kiss. They were all fucking hairy, Gene and Paul. It was all about that. Not Peter Criss, though. So that's a show, you guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
Dude.
Thanks
are you ready to
having
eat?
Me out.
Are you ready to eat?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure.
There's one little shout out.
Joe, go. Whatever. It's your show, brother.
Social media. Everybody knows Facebook sucks. Twitter, not too much great. Better, The best place to find me is a place called Counter Social. It's a social media platform created by, I guess you'd call him a vigilante hacker named Jester Actual.
Ooh, I like this.
Yes, and it is the best social media platform there is. There's no trolls, no abuse, no advertising. There's no bullshit. I mean, no bullshit.
I'm going to jump on it.
Absolutely.
So, and what's the best way for people to find your music?
The best way would be to just hunt me down on social media. I'd say my YouTube channel probably.
Okay. You got that.
Yeah,
are you on Bandcamp or Spotify?
Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, in the description of all the videos, there's links to my, call it my deep web store, is where you can find my Bandcamp links, Apple Music, iTunes, all that, because it just got put out on Spotify and full distribution. So
fantastic.
I get the impression that you're constantly creating.
Constantly.
That's the impression I get. That's awesome.
That's the name of the game.
Hey, you might recognize this song. Thanks for listening, everybody.
From the north end of the Mississippi River in Chicago, Illinois, to the south end in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you've been listening to the MK Ultrasound podcast with your host, Alexander, with our special videographer, Cassandra Belazik, and I'm your executive producer, Too Dark. Tune in for the next episode to see exactly what's going to happen next. You've been listening to the MK Ultrasound podcast.